Welcome to the Reds Trends, your ultimate home for everything Liverpool FC. Stay ahead of the game with the latest breaking transfer news, tactical analysis, match reactions and daily updates straight from Anfield. Whether it's Premier League title battles or Champions League nights, we bring you all the action and insights you need as a true fan. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Up the Reds, YNWA Liverpool's shock move for Bradley Barcola. The transfer that could explode the window. The summer transfer window is approaching its final hours, and just when Liverpool supporters thought the biggest surprises were already over, a stunning name has suddenly entered the conversation: Bradley Barcola. The Paris Saint-Germain winger has become the centre of a dramatic transfer story, with Liverpool reportedly pushing hard to complete a sensational deal before the window closes. This is not the kind of transfer that anyone expected to dominate the final days of the summer. It is fast, it is complicated, and if Liverpool managed to get it over the line, it could completely change the attacking options at Anfield. For days, the football world had been watching other clubs make their moves. Deals were being announced, negotiations were accelerating, medicals were being scheduled, and agents were travelling from one city to another. But behind the scenes, Liverpool were apparently working on something different, something much bigger, something that could leave supporters asking one question: how did Liverpool manage to get Bradley Barcola? The story begins with Liverpool's recruitment team identifying one major weakness in their attacking structure. They wanted more speed, more unpredictability, more one-versus-one ability, and above all, they wanted a player capable of turning an ordinary attacking move into a goal in a matter of seconds. Barcola fits that description almost perfectly. The French winger has developed into one of the most exciting young attacking players in European football. His acceleration is frightening. His movement is intelligent. His ability to receive the ball wide, attack defenders and suddenly cut inside makes him extremely difficult to control. And Liverpool have apparently been watching him very closely. The first contact was not described as a dramatic public negotiation. There was no huge announcement, no television cameras, no official confirmation. Instead, the groundwork was reportedly being laid quietly. Liverpool knew that if they wanted Barcola, they could not waste time. The closer the transfer deadline moved, the more complicated the situation became. Paris Saint-Germain had no obvious reason to make the deal easy. Barcola is young. He is valuable. He has enormous potential. And PSG know that players with his profile are becoming increasingly difficult to replace. So Liverpool faced a major problem. How do you convince PSG to sell one of their most dangerous attacking weapons while simultaneously convincing the player that Anfield is the right destination? That is where the story becomes fascinating. Liverpool's message was reportedly simple. They did not want Barcola merely to become another squad player. They wanted him to become a major part of their future. The club's vision was built around his ability to play from the left, attack space, combine with teammates and create moments that can decide the biggest matches. And that message could become one of the most important factors in the entire negotiation. Because Barcola would not simply be moving to another club. He would be moving into one of the most demanding football environments in the world. Anfield, a stadium where supporters expect attacking football. A stadium where wingers are judged not only by goals and assists, but by courage. Can you take on a defender when the match is tight? Can you create something when the opponent is sitting deep? Can you produce a moment when Liverpool desperately need one? Barcola's qualities suggest that he could, and Liverpool apparently believe exactly that. As the negotiations progressed, whispers began circulating around European football. Liverpool were interested. Liverpool were asking questions. Liverpool were exploring the possibility of a deal. But then came the most dangerous moment: PSG's position. The French giants were not expected to simply open the door and allow Barcola to leave. Liverpool therefore had to make their proposal attractive enough to change the situation. This is where the final days of the window became critical. Liverpool knew time was not their friend. Every hour mattered, every conversation mattered, every phone call could change the direction of the deal. And inside the club, the pressure was reportedly increasing. The recruitment department wanted answers. The coaching staff wanted clarity. The player needed to understand the project. And PSG needed to decide whether the financial package was enough to justify losing one of their prized attacking players. The atmosphere surrounding the negotiation became increasingly intense. Then came the first major breakthrough. Liverpool reportedly made it clear that they were prepared to take the negotiations to another level. The message was no longer simply, "We like the player." It became, "We want him." That difference is enormous. Because when a club makes its intentions clear at this stage of the window, negotiations can move incredibly quickly. Liverpool began discussing the structure of the deal, the initial proposal, potential bonuses, payment terms, performance-related clauses, and the possibility of additional conditions that could satisfy both clubs. But there was another important piece of the puzzle. Barcola himself. A transfer cannot happen simply because two clubs agree the player has to want it. And this is where Liverpool's confidence reportedly increased. The idea of playing in the Premier League was understood to be attractive. The intensity, the atmosphere, the speed, the physicality, and the possibility of becoming one of the faces of Liverpool's next generation. For a player of Barcola's age, that opportunity could be enormous. Imagine walking into Anfield. Imagine hearing more than 50,000 supporters singing your name. Imagine receiving the ball on the left wing in front of the Kop. One defender stands between you and the penalty area. You accelerate. The defender retreats. You cut inside. The stadium rises and suddenly everyone understands why Liverpool wanted you. That is the dream. But transfers are rarely that simple. PSG still had their own plans. And as Liverpool pushed forward, another question emerged. Would PSG actually allow the deal to happen before the deadline? This was the moment when the story threatened to collapse. Liverpool were working against the clock. PSG were evaluating their options. The players' camp was waiting for clarity. And supporters were refreshing their phones every few minutes. The transfer window had entered its most chaotic stage. Then came another twist. Liverpool reportedly began preparing for the possibility that the negotiation could accelerate overnight. Documents had to be prepared. Contract details had to be checked. Financial arrangements had to be discussed. And most importantly, both clubs had to reach an agreement quickly enough to allow the necessary formalities to take place. This is what makes deadline day transfers so dangerous. A deal can be 95% complete and still collapse. One disagreement over the fee, one problem with payment terms, one issue in the contract, one medical concern, one final demand from the selling club, and everything can disappear. Liverpool knew that. They had to remain calm, they had to remain aggressive, and they had to avoid making a mistake. Behind the scenes, the pressure was enormous. Liverpool supporters began imagining what Barcola could bring to the team. His pace could stretch defensive lines. His dribbling could unlock compact opponents. His ability to attack from wide positions could give Liverpool another dimension. And his age would fit perfectly with a squad looking toward the future. This was not simply about signing another winger. It was about building another weapon. Liverpool have historically been at their most dangerous when their attack can hurt opponents in multiple ways. If one side is blocked, attack the other. If the midfield is crowded, use the wings. If defenders sit deep, create 1-versus-1 situations. Barcola could potentially give Liverpool exactly that. But then came the biggest question of the entire story. How far were Liverpool actually willing to go? Would they make a huge final offer? Would they include bonuses? Would they accept a difficult payment structure? Would they push the negotiation right until the final minutes? The answer appeared to be yes, directly.